Shabbat shalom, everyone. We are going to begin our service by singing Hine Ma Tov. The words are on page 128.
Shevet Achim Kam Yachad, Hine Ma Tov U'Manahim. Shevet Achim Kam Yachad, Hine Ma Tov U'Manahim. Shevet Achim Kam Yachad, Hine Ma Tov U'Manahim. Shevet Achim Gam Yachad, Hine Ma Tov U'Manahim. Shevet Achim Gam Yachad, Hine Ma Tov U'Manahim. Shevet Achim Gam Yachad. Shevet Achim Gam Yachad, Hine Ma Tov U'Manahim. Shevet Achim Gam Yachad.
Our announcer will be here in a moment, I believe, but we will begin with welcoming everyone again to Shabbat. We have a few guests here this evening, and so you may say hello to our guests, Skylar and William, who are here, and we're delighted to have you. This week has been, it's really truly feels like the middle of the summer. It's been hot and it's been cooler, and things are happening in our world and in our country related to politics and Israel and everything else that's going on. And I sure am grateful for this opportunity to put my phone away, close the news on the radio. Even the podcast I was listening on the way to temple tonight is political in nature, having to do with Israel. I just need a break. And so I'm hoping that each one of us can find a sense of breath and space away from all of the things that are crowding our minds. And as we're here together tonight to listen to beautiful music and sing our prayers that for generations we have come together to say. Of course, we cannot completely forget the rest of the world. Tonight we are recognizing Inbar Heyman, who is 27. She's one of the hostages being held in Gaza by Hamas, and she is 27 years old, and she was taken from the Nova Music Festival. And so we are praying for her safety and hope that she is able to come home soon. Now I'd like to call up Pam to offer us our announcements. It's okay. But do you have it now?
Yes.
Okay.
You found
them. I'm Pam Jackson, representing the Board of Trustees, and I would like to welcome you to Temple this evening. The beam of flowers and Kiddush this evening are in loving memory of Eloise Rapino from Norm and Stacy Rapino and their family. Torah today is tomorrow, July 20th, at 9:30 a.m. Join Rabbi Delson for a lively discussion of the Torah portion for the week. Coffee and bagels will be served. The book clubs of B'nai Israel, Etz Chaim, and Temple Shomer invite you to a joint synagogue book club and lunch. It's Wednesday, July 24th at noon at the temple here. The cost is $7 and you may pay at the door. If you need further information, reach out to Alice Applebaum. Next Friday, July 26th at 5:30 p.m. in the chapel, There will be a special meeting of the congregation called by Temple President Joe Rosenberg and the Board of Trustees. The following business will take place at this special meeting: voting on amendments to the Temple Code of Regulations and an overview of the 2023 year-end review. Saturday, July 27th at 10:30 a.m., Shabbat of Song and Study. Join Rabbi Delson and Cantor Rohr to ease into Shabbat morning with a service of singing and Torah study. Start your morning with a relaxed service, Torah reading, and discussion about the week's Torah portion. And finally, Joe and Elaine Jacoby are hosting an Oneg Shabbat on Friday, August 2nd, following services. The heavy appetizer Oneg Shabbat is in honor of Joe's 80th birthday. Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
That was a long one.
It was a long one tonight. It's summer, and we're busy. So in multiple places, it says you need to RSVP for Torah today, which is our Torah study tomorrow morning. You do not. Just come. We'll be here. It'll be a nice conversation. So thank you, Pam, for letting us know all that is happening here at Temple. We are going to turn now to page 120 for our candle lighting, and I would like to call Norm Rapino and Stacy Rapino and Cooper to lead us. No? Okay. We're on page 120, just the kids, that's right. Okay. Gonna say the blessing. It's written down. You just read one of the ones at a time. It's okay. You can do the lighting.
Should be okay.
As these Shabbat candles give light to all who behold them, so may we, by our lives, give light to all who behold us, as their brightness reminds us of the generations of Israel who have kindled light, so may we in our own day be among those who kindle light. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav, v'tzivanu lehadlik ner shel Shabbat. Blessed are you, Adonai, our God, sovereign of the universe, who hallows us with mitzvot, commanding us to kindle the light of Shabbat.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Page 124. Join together as welcoming words. May the door of this synagogue be wide enough to receive all who hunger for love, all who are lonely for friendship. May it welcome all who have cares to unburden, thanks to express, hopes to nurture. May the door of this synagogue be narrow enough to shut out pettiness and pride, envy and enmity. May its threshold be no stumbling block to young or straying feet. May it be too high to admit complacency, selfishness, and harshness. May this synagogue be, for all who enter, the doorway to a richer and more meaningful life. Page 138, we'll join together in Lecha Dodi.
Lecha Dodi likrat kala b'nei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha Dodi likrat kala b'nei Shabbat nekabela. Shamo v'zachor b'dibur echad, Hishmehan yuhel hamayuchad, Adonai echad, u'shemo echad, l'shem u'tiferet v'litihila. Lecha Dodi likrat kala b'nei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha Dodi likrat kala b'nei Shabbat nekabela. Likrat Shabbat lechuven elcha, ki mekor habracha, merosh mikedem nesucha, sof mazeh b'makshvat yichila. Lecha Dodi likrat kala b'nei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha Dodi likrat kala b'nei Shabbat nekabela. Hitoleri, kivarech kol mi uri, shir daveri, kevod Adonai alayich nigla. Lecha Dodi likrat kala b'nei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha Dodi likrat kala b'nei Shabbat nekabela. Boi v'shalom ateret bala, gam b'simcha u'vetzola. Toch emuneh am segula, boi chala, boi chala. Lecha Dodi likrat kala b'nei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha Dodi likrat kala b'nei Shabbat nekabela.
Page 144, the Hatzi Kaddish.
Yitkadal v'yitkadash shemer Rabba, בעלמא דברך ידותי והמליך מלכותי בחייכון וביומכון ובחיי כל בית ישראל בעגלה בעגלה ובזמן קריב והימרו אמן יש מרבה מברך לעולם ולעלמי המיה יתברך יתברך וישתבח ויתבהר ויתרומם ויתנשא ויתעטד ויתעלה ויתעלל שמד קודשה בריחו לילה מן כל ברכתה ושירתה תושבחתה ונחמתה דמירן בעלמא וימרו אמן.
Please rise for the Baruchu.
Baruchu et Adonai hamevorach. Baruch Adonai hamevorach leolam vaed.
Page 148. Join together in the English. Blessed are you, Adonai, our God, ruler of the universe, who speaks the evening into being, skillfully opens the gates, thoughtfully alters the time and changes the seasons, and arranges the stars in their heavenly courses according to plan. You are creator of day and night, rolling light away from darkness and darkness from light, transforming day into night and distinguishing one from the other. Adonai Tsebaot is your name. Ever living God, may you reign continually over us into eternity. Blessed are you, Adonai, who brings on evening. Baruch atah Adonai, Hama'ariv Aravim. Page 150, Ahavat Olam.
Ahavat olam, Beit Yisrael, Amech avta, Amcha avta. Torah u'mitzvot, chukim u'mishpatim, otanu limadeta, otanu limadeta. Al ken Adonai Eloheinu b'shachvenu uvkumenu nasiach bechukecha v'nismach b'divrei Toratecha ובמצוותיך לעולם ועד, כי הם חיינו, ועוד החיינו, ובהם נגי יומם ולילה, נגי יומם ולילה. Israel. Shema Israel, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto Leolam Vaed.
Please be seated. Vahafta is on page 154.
ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודיך. והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך. ושיננתם לבניך ודיברת בם בשבתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך ובשוכבך ובקומך וקשרתם לאות על ידיך והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך למען תזכרו ועשיתם כל מצוותי והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים להיות לכם לאלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם.
We'll turn now to page 239. The Shema uses 5 paragraphs from the book of Deuteronomy, and one that comes directly after the Ve'ahavta is called Emet Ve'atziv. It's actually Emet Ve'emunah in the evening, Emet Ve'atziv in the morning. And Emet means truth. And so we have this idea from the Shema all about God's oneness, to the Ve'ahavta, which is all about how we ourselves can show God love, and that is through our interactions. And then finally, we have this part about truth. And so on the bottom reading on page 239 is written in a responsive style. And so let us look at this idea of what it means for God's truth to live in the world. The eternal truth is that you alone are God and there is none else. May the righteous of all nations rejoice in your love and exalt in your justice. Let them beat their swords into plowshares and their spears into pruning hooks. The nation not lift up sword against nation, nor learn war anymore. You shall not hate your brother or your sister in your heart. The stranger that sojourns with you shall be accepted as your equal, for you were strangers in the land of Egypt. Why do you crush my people and oppress the poor? Asks God. We know the Eternal One defends the poor and upholds the rights of the needy. Praise be to God Most High. Blessed is God and deserving of blessing. Page 158, Mi Chamocha.
Joseph כי פר אדוני את יעקב, וגבלו מיד חזק ממנו. ברוך אתה אדוני, גל ישראל.
Page 162, we have our song for Shabbat, V'shamri. More than the Jewish people have kept Shabbat, Shabbat have kept the Jewish people.
Amen.
Turn now to page 164. Rise if you are able for the Amidah.
Adonai sefetai tiftachu fi tehillatcha. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu v'Elohei avotenu v'imotenu Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzchak, v'Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel v'Leah, Ha'el Hagadol Hagibor v'Hanora, El Elyon Gomer Chasadim Tovim, v'Koneh Hakol, v'Zocher Chaste Avot v'Imahot, u'mevii geula livnei v'nehem, leman shemo be'ahava, melech ozer u'mashiach u'magen, Baruch atah Adonai, Magen Avraham ve'Azrat Sarah, Ata gibor le'olam Adonai, Mechayeh hakol ata rav l'hoshia, morid hatal, Mechacher chaim bechesed, Mechayeh hakol berachamim rabim, Sorech noflim ve'rofeh cholim, U'matir asurim, U'makayem emunato, Lishenei afar, Milchamocha bar gevurot, U'mido melach, Melech memit, U'makayeh, U'matzmiach Yeshua, ונאמן אתה לחיות הכל. ברוך אתה אדוני מחיי הכל. אתה קדוש ושמך קדוש, וקדושים בכל יום יהללוך סלה. ברוך אתה אדוני האל הקדוש.
Please be seated. Page 175. Join with me. You are with us in our prayer, our love, and our doubt, and our longing to feel your presence and do your will. You are the still, clear voice within us. Therefore, O God, when doubt troubles us, when anxiety makes us tremble, when pain clouds the mind, we look inward for the answer to our prayers. There may we find you, and there find courage, insight, and endurance. And let our worship bring us closer to one another, that all Israel and all who seek you may find new strength for your service. Baruch atah Adonai, she'otcha levarcha be'ira na'avod.
ברחמים
Page 178. At the bottom of the page, we see this line. It's from Numbers Rabbah. It's the Midrash from actually the Torah portion from last week. And it says, "Seek peace and pursue it," which is one of the lines from Psalms. The Midrash here observes we must seek peace in our own place and pursue it in every other place. It is up to us to continue to seek peace, even when we know we have a world that is not at peace. And if you'll see on the other side of the page, on 179, it's talking about the absence of war, which is one kind of peace. But the peace that we are praying for is more than that. The peace that we are praying for is the peace between people, a world at rest and at ease, rather than at war. Join together in Shalom Rav.
Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Ki ata melech adon lechol hashalom. Ki ata melech adon lechol hashalom. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. V'tov b'necha levarech et amcha Yisrael b'chol עת ובכל שעה בשלומך. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Tasim Leolam. Tasim Leolam.
Our thoughts turn now to those who are in our community who are in need of healing. The words to the Mishaberach are on page 371. In our community this week, we are praying for the healing of Sandy Eisenberg, Charlie Bauer, Dr. Harvey Wolf, and Marla Levine. If there are other names you would like to mention, I would encourage you to do so now.
Dave Saltzman, Noreen McElroy.
Join together the Mishaberach.
of strength, who blessed the ones before us. Help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say, Amen. Mishemelach imotenu mekol habracha leavotenu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shelema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say, Amen.
May they each find a sense of wholeness and healing very soon. We'll take the next few moments for our own personal prayer.
Say shalom, shalom bimromav, uyaseh shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'imru Shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Amen. Say shalom, shalom bimromav, uyaseh shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'imru Amen. Ve'al kol Yisrael. Amen.
Ma tovu ohalecha Yaakov, mish kenotecha Yisrael. How beautiful are your tents, O Jacob, your dwellings, O Israel. These words of blessing come from our Torah portion, but they come at it from a roundabout way. These are words that we sing when we come into the synagogue on a Saturday morning or any other time, and they come from this week's Torah portion. In the ongoing saga in the book of Numbers, while the Israelites were traveling through the wilderness, they came across the people of Moab, the Moabites, and their king Balak. Balak was fearful of this large Israelite army and had heard of their successful military battles. To combat this people, he hires a prophet to curse the Israelites. The prophet's name is Balaam. There's Balak, who's the king, and Balaam, who is the prophet. Balaam sits on a hill overlooking the Israelite camp and tries his hardest to curse them, but it doesn't work the first time. He packs up and figures he will try again another day. The next time, he sits on a different hill after getting the message from King Balak that it had better work this time, but it doesn't. He tried a third time to curse the Israelites, but to no avail. What is going on? Finally, an angel of God appears to Balaam on his way to curse the Israelites. At first, he does not see the angel, but the donkey that he is riding does, and the donkey refuses to move. Balaam got off his donkey and began to brutally beat it for a while until she laid down and spoke to him and said, "An angel of God is here with a sword, and I cannot go anywhere." The donkey said that. Suddenly, Balaam looked up and saw the angel of God with the sword and acquiesces. God let him go on his way as if he were going to curse the Israelites according to Balak's bidding. However, he reached the agreed destination, and a blessing came out of his mouth instead of a curse. He said, "Ma tovu ohalecha Yaakov, mishkanotecha Yisrael. How fair are your tents, O Jacob, your dwellings, O Israel." Balak is one of the wildest stories in the Torah. It could rival any campfire story. This would-be curse has become a blessing, and it came from atop a mountain. When we are high above a place, we have a different perspective than if we were on the ground. When we are looking down on a situation, it is easier to see the beauty and simplicity rather than the grittier complexities. This past week, I was at Gucci, the Union for Reform Judaism's Goldman Union Camp Institute. There's only one C in this Gucci, G-U-C-I. And I was serving as faculty, a volunteer on the faculty, a group comprised of rabbis from around the region. Throughout the week, we were there to help counselors plan Jewish learning opportunities for the campers, tutor students for their upcoming bar and bat mitzvahs, and just be cheerleaders for camp. As a group, we wondered how best to bring back the energy of 200 campers back to our various communities and infuse some of that magic in our own teachings. All of the faculty would regularly gather on the veranda connected to the faculty housing building. There, under lights and fans to keep the bugs away, we watched campers, counselors, and golf carts roll by as we planned and did our own congregational work. However, the metaphor of looking out from a high place down on the community still stands. And I'd like to share some of my observations with all of you tonight from my time last week. Number one, the kids are all right. They really are. Judaism is alive at camp in a way that it is difficult to replicate in the synagogue. On opening day, I stood in the rain at the car doors of each of the campers and I said, "Okay, it's time to say goodbye now." And they would each open up their door. Most of the campers jumped out of the car and said goodbye to their parents. They left their phones and their devices inside the car, said goodbye, and they were ready for 2 or 4 weeks of communal living. In addition to separating from their parents and leaving their electronics behind, they were ready to spend much of their time outdoors. Gucci is a beautiful camp with lush green trees and walking paths. And with it also comes the nature of being outside, like bugs, stinging hornets, and some small animals living right alongside them. But for the most part, they took those inconveniences in stride. I marveled at their resilience and independence every single day. Number 2, my second observation was learning about Israel from Israelis. Each summer, a group of Israelis, many of whom who have completed their mandatory military service, come to camp to serve as counselors. With everything that has gone on in Israel this year, with many of them losing friends and family, either on October 7th or being called up to fight, these young people come to camp and give their all. On Saturday, the Mishlachat, the Israeli delegation, organized Erev Yisrael, an Israel evening, for the entire camp. They brought out the grill and served Israeli food. They had games and activities, instilling pride in Israel for our campers. Not only did this give the Israelis an opportunity to share their culture, but it also allowed the American-born counselors, many of whom who just graduated high school or are in college now, that they can have pride in being Jewish and have a connection to Israel. I heard accounts of counselors who were spit on at their college campuses and high school students who were faced with walkouts in support of a ceasefire. The camp senior staff talked to the entire staff about respecting each other's opinions and views, but reminding them that this is the Union for Reform Judaism camp and we support Zionism as a movement. Of course, there were counselors who disagreed with the sentiment and participated in protests at their own campuses, but at camp, they put their differences aside. It is difficult, as one of the assistant camp directors said, it is difficult to share a cabin with someone for 10 weeks and not learn their perspective. Number 3, joy in Judaism. This was something that I definitely saw from my vantage point of watching children lead the services. And every morning, the entire camp would come together for roll call at the old pool, which is now filled in. And instead of counting everyone that's there, they would sing Modeh Ani, the prayer praising God for waking us up in the morning. They would sing Shema as a camp and say the blessing and sing about our opportunity to wake up and change the world. I witnessed sleepy campers and counselors arriving to roll call 1 minute, and then the next minute singing our most important prayers while jumping together in a circle. It was joyful to experience. The singing didn't stop there. After breakfast, lunch, and dinner, the entire camp would come together to sing songs in Hebrew and English, say cheers for their units, using Hebrew words, and putting their arms around each other when the tempo slowed. It really was incredible. Throughout the summer, each cabin also leads services, and each kid gets the opportunity to lead a prayer or say something about it. Judaism and Hebrew is baked into everything that they do at camp. And finally, this was an unexpected observation. This congregation, has a long history at camp. We have scholarships for children dedicated to sending their kids to Gucci, along with the Federation's incredibly generous emoji program. But there were 2 places on camp that I saw that brought our community to theirs. The first was the bench dedicated to Kyle Schwartz, the son of Larry and Glenda. This bench is placed on a shady path that leads down to the boys' cabin area and then to the sports field. The men's working weekend was also started by members of this congregation who go every year to bond and to support camp. The other area that I learned about while tutoring students for their bar or bat mitzvah is the mirpaset, which in Hebrew means porch. And this porch was connected to the office building, and I just was looking up when I saw this sign that it said it was dedicated by members of Temple Congregation Shomer Emunim. And so even when camp felt like a bubble, something separate from the rest of the world, it reminded us that we are connected. I want to end with something that happened early on in my time at camp. The faculty were charged with teaching about ritual creation based on teaching the holidays. We asked the campers to come up with a ritual for Yom HaMachaneh, Camp Day. This fictional holiday allowed the campers to see the importance and beauty of Jewish ritual. We closed the shiur, the lesson, with the entire camp together, huddled under talitot held up by their counselors. We can imagine that this could have looked like the tents that Balaam saw when he was looking down over the people. Under the talitot, we said the priestly blessing and sang a line from the Psalms, Zeh hayom asa Adonai nagila v'nismecha bo. This is the day that God has made. Let us rejoice and celebrate it. Every day at Gucci was a celebration of God's creations. Nature, kids being kids, a Reformed Jewish tradition, and a connection to our community. Thankfully, I was able to see all of this from up high and bring these blessings back to you. Shabbat Shalom. We're going to return to our prayer books now to page 586 as we rise for Aleinu. Page 591. Please be seated. Our thoughts turn to those who have departed this earth, our own loved ones, those whom our friends and neighbors have lost, the martyrs of our people whose graves are unmarked, and those of every race and nation whose lives have been a blessing to humanity. As we remember them, we meditate on the meaning of love and loss, of life and death. This week, I will be reading the names from last week and this week because I know that there was a mix-up. In our community, we are remembering Booker McQueen, Albie Romanoff, and Phyllis Horwitz, who have died in the most recent 30 days. We are also remembering Joan Barczyk, Reuben G. Cohen, Bertha B. Cohn, Emil M. Epstein, Julius Feibelman, George Friedman, Fred Joseph Gamiel, Bertha Betty Powder Goldman, Louis Heilbrunn, Natalie Hyman, Paul L. Kahn, Susie Kaminsky, Barbara Kaplan, Richard L. Kaplan Jr., Sylvia Nass-Leitner, Jane Liebes, Sandra May, Philip Michael, Charles Newberry, Gregory Orgel, Helen Plisco, Goldie Powder, Alec Rawitcher, Walter S. Rice, Louis Rosenthal, Samuel Rudolph, Joseph Sugarman, A.H. Steinberg, M.D., Faye Seston, Hannah Tannenbaum, Max C. Tavel, Alex Turmwell, and Merle Weiss. And this week, we are remembering Philip Abe, Albert Ackerman, Ellen Adler, Louis Baum, Jean K. Cohen, Florence B. Cohn, Frida Zucker Connolly, Myron Edelstein, Solomon Edelstein, David Fisher, Elton S. Gallen, Stanford Goldman, Harry Herman, William Horwitz, Stuart Kaplan, Honora Sue Carr, Sherelle Castle, Velma Crum, Bertha Latzel, Louis I. Lieb, Aaron R. Liebenthal, Rose Esserman Levin, Elliot L. Miller, Helene Pessin, Phyllis M. Phillips, Eloise Rapino, Celia Robinson, Sylvia Rosenberg, Therese L. Rosenthal, Blossom Rosenzweig, Vilma Rottenstein, Miriam F. Schwab, Herschel Sears, Bertha Frank Silverman, Henry R. Silverman Jr., Eva Zucker Zimmerman, and Dr. Ralph L. Zucker. Are there any other names that we would like to mention before the mourner's Kaddish? The words are on page 598. Please rise. Yitgadal v'yikadash shemei rabbah be'alma divrach kirtei v'yamlich malchutei v'chayechon uvyomechon uvchaye dechol beit Yisrael ba'agalal v'zman kariv v'imru amen. Yehei shmei rabbah mevorach le'olam olamei almaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitramam v'yitnaseh v'yitadar v'yitalev v'yitalal shemed kudusha brechu. Le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata tushbechata v'nechemata da'amiran be'alma v'imru amen. Yehei shlama rabba min shemaya v'chayim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. Oseh shalom b'mromav hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. Zichronam livracha, may their memories be for a blessing. May be seated. Our closing song for this evening is Adon Olam on page 626. No. Yes. No, 625.
Adon Olam Asher Malach B'terem Kol Yitzir Nifra Lehet Nasa V'chetzo Kol Azai Melech Shemoni שני להמשיל לו להחמירה בלי ראשית בלי תכלית ולא העוז והמשרה והוא אלי וחגלי וצורכם לי בצרה והוא ניסי ומנוס לי מנת כוזי ביום אקרא בידו הפקיד רוחי בית ישן והעירה ואם רוחי גביעתי אדוני לי ולא יירא.
Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
Let's join us in the hallway for Kiddush and Motzi.